So do you like LEGO? Do you like... Well, that's good, because today we're looking at the new 2021 Imperial Shuttle. Now, this new ship is in line with the new downscaling for the 2021 wave, but does this stack up next to the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter in terms of quality? You guys already know my opinions on the X-Wing and TIE Fighter from my last video on these new Star Wars ships, and if you haven't seen that video, I'd recommend going and watching that one first and then coming back to this one, because I'll be referencing it a fair bit. But let's start, as we always do, with the minifigures. Now, for this set, I think everybody is in the same sort of boat, saying that these are very lackluster minifigures, but they make sense for the context of the scene. And these are actually my first time having my hands on a newer Darth Vader. I have never had a Darth Vader with this helmet mold before, so it was quite cool to actually experience this for the first time. But starting off with the pilot, as I believe he is the least interesting out of all of these figures, it's nice that we get torso front and back printing, as well as a nice little silver dot on the hat piece there, which I guess technically means it's printed, and obviously the least interesting fig out of this entire set. It's still a nice fig though. Moving on to Luke Skywalker. Now, this Luke Skywalker comes with some handcuffs, because this is when he's arrested on Endor, so it's nice to see that they included the handcuffs there just as a little nod to the scene. It's also nice that they changed his lightsaber from blue to green. I don't really know how it happened, as LEGO have been doing this for countless years now. In all of the early instruction manuals, Luke Skywalker had a blue lightsaber in his episode 6 outfit. I don't know if there was just somebody new to the team that was taking pictures and nobody noticed, but I find it hard to believe that they didn't notice that it had a blue lightsaber instead of a green one. Another thing that's fairly strange to see is the original LEGO hairpiece. Now, I understand that this hairpiece is a good fit for Luke, and why fix what isn't broken, but LEGO's hairpieces have evolved so much since this hairpiece that I think bringing back this original hairpiece makes the figure look strangely dated. Even though he's got a really modern looking print on his torso and back torso, I still think this hairpiece could have done with a rework to make it look more like the Mark Hamill hair. Not necessarily a new shape, but maybe add some hairlines in there, you know, like LEGO have been doing now with their hairpieces for a very long time. A good example of this, I will show his Flickr page below, but is actually this picture here. You can see, even just by updating the hairpiece, that it looks a lot more like Mark Hamill playing Luke Skywalker from that particular age of Star Wars. And I think not only having this sort of a hairpiece for mock builders would be great, it also just takes that minifigure to the next level, in my opinion, and it also puts them more in line with other minifigures that we've been seeing from things like the Harry Potter CMF and things like the City line. Just getting new hairpieces is always a good thing. Moving on to the big bad himself. Now, this is Darth Vader. Now, like I say, this is the first Darth Vader I have had with this new headpiece mold, so this again is a new experience for me. I have never had one of these figures before, and I must say I really do like the updated version of this figure, but I do have a few problems, and this is them. I don't understand why LEGO have gone back on the arm printing from the Bespin Duel set. I don't know if they just wanted to make the Darth Vader exclusive to that set, which he's not exclusive, he's also in another set, but like, you know what I mean. I don't understand why they have gone backwards instead of forwards. It seems like every Darth Vader from this point should have had the arm printing, and this one for some strange reason doesn't. And because this Darth Vader doesn't have arm printing, it worries me for the future of arm printing, knowing that now, if we for instance got another Mandalorian set, would he have the cool arm printing that we got in the Trouble on Tatooine set, or would he just have plain dark brown arms? Now, me being me, I would like to say no, of course not. Of course he's going to have the arm printing, but now looking at this and what LEGO are doing, now I'm not so sure. So I'm kind of glad I picked up the Trouble on Tatooine set. just in case we'll never get that kind of a figure again. Another thing I kinda don't like about the new helmet is the fact that he's constantly looking up. Now, I did kinda know about this issue because I have rendered Darth Vader before for Ryan CMF, link in the description. I would like to see a rework of this helmet design done where he's looking down. Now, Darth Vader is very tall, therefore most of the time he's looking down, which creates the angry eyebrows expression that Rebels really over-exaggerated with their helmet design, and it creates that evil-looking look that I feel is lost with this LEGO one. He kind of looks a bit derpy because he's looking up all the time. Don't get me wrong, he still looks like Darth Vader, but I would have preferred him looking at least level with the other minifigures. And also, I don't understand why at this point LEGO haven't put in the skirt pieces from characters like Flitwick and the skirt pieces that we've had throughout the years. I do them in my renders all the time because they look genuinely really good on things like Jedi and Sith, and especially with this Darth Vader, here's my render to prove so, it looks good with this piece here. I don't understand why LEGO aren't putting it in. And don't give me a spiel about money, it's literally a fabric piece. It's gonna cost them nothing. But now I've had my spiel about the minifigures, let's move on to the set, and unfortunately it is one of those cases where I do think the 2015 one is better, and they've unfortunately taken a step back, and here is why. Now, with the new X-Wing and the new TIE Fighter, they seem to be able to scale down these models but still keep the same sort of size and still keep the charm of the set. With this one here, I feel like they've kept the same look and feel of the ship, but they've lost that charm. And it's just because it's littered with problems. For starters, the ship again feels a bit chibi-like. Now, I know the TIE Fighter had a very big problem with this. It's no way as bad as the TIE Fighter with the small wings, but it definitely does feel a bit disproportionate, whereas I think the X-Wing did a way better job at keeping its proportions. Another thing I really don't like is the way that the ship opens up with this piece on the front here. You press this in and you lift it back, and that's the only way that you can get into the cockpit and put in your minifigure. Another thing that I really don't like about the interior is that there's barely any space to do anything. I know that these playsets aren't always designed to have a lot of space on the inside, but it would have been nicer to have more than literally just a spot to sit your minifigures down, with no detail around them. Even the cockpit doesn't have any form of control panel or anything like that, it's literally just a spot to put in the minifigure. Another massive problem I have about this ship is its chin, and even though everybody saw all the leaks and the official pictures when they came out, everybody didn't think the chin was going to be that bad, but I've got to tell you, this chin is absolutely horrendous, to the point where I thought that I had built the ship wrong. That's how bad this chin is. It's also got a weird gap where the chin meets the actual cockpit. So I don't know if I actually have built this wrong or if that's the way it's intended to look. I need to go watch some other people's videos, but I'm 99% sure that that is the way it's intended to look. Another thing I have a major issue with is the landing gear side of it. Now, this is one thing I think the 2015 ship did a lot better than this new one. The fact that it actually had some decent landing gear. Now, this ship does have landing gear, but it's a pathetic excuse for landing gear, I think, and something certainly that I think I'm going to modify if I ever modify this set. Now let's talk about the wings. Now the wings, I believe, are actually some of the best bits about this set. Now it's on a ratcheting system. Now this ratcheting system I actually quite like. I don't know how well it'll go over time, whether they'll loosen up or anything, but it's done on these nice little ratchet joints. I never believed in the fact that they need to be geared mechanisms or do that thing where they have to fold down at the same time. I'm all for one of those things that you literally can just move the wings into the attack position or the fly position and you can go from there. But then that also does bring up a problem that I have with the ship, whereas if the wings are in folded position, you have these nasty grey bars on the outside, and I know the 2015 one had this too, but at least those bars were white in some places, making it blend a little bit easier into the ship. And obviously on the 2015 one, the wings were a bit thicker. Obviously these are only one plate big at most times because of the reduced piece count, that I think it's a little more obvious to see this grey bar sticking up, and I just don't think on display it looks very good with all the inverted tiles and that grey bar, which is why I wish that this came with a display stand, and the display stand could have been like 10 pieces of just black Technic or crane pieces, just something to display the ship when it's got its wings down, just because I feel like that is the best way to pose this ship. As for playability with this ship, unfortunately with its wings down, I can never ever seem to hold it in a comfortable position. Now I don't feel like this is LEGO's fault. I've never had another sort of Imperial Shuttle, so I don't know what holding like the UCS one or the 2015 one feels like. So I think this might just be a design trope of the ship, unfortunately. And I do like that LEGO have made a way for you to hold it by the central wing, and obviously the central wing doesn't fall to pieces. Well, I say doesn't fall to pieces. Make sure you're holding it on that Technic bar, because if you're not holding it on that Technic bar, well... But yeah, like I say, this might just be a ship design problem rather than a LEGO problem. So overall, what do I think of this ship? I think the ship is definitely in the okay category. Yes, it has a lot of problems, but what LEGO model these days doesn't have its fair share of problems? I'm just here to highlight them and let you guys know about them before you buy this ship. I quite like the look of the design. I appreciate the fact that they've managed to make this £20 cheaper than the previous model, obviously being the 2015 one, but at a cost of its size and also a lot of its sort of integrity and functionality. I feel like the 2015 is definitely better.
But you shouldn't replace your 2015 one with this 2021 version.
But if you don't have a 2015 one and you don't fancy paying $250 for trying to get one of those suckers sealed, then this is definitely your next best option. Yeah, it's not as good as the 2015 one, but it's definitely a better option, especially if you're planning on displaying it in the attack position. I really do think the silhouette of this ship and the way that this looks, even if it's got a massive studdy look to its lower wings, that can always be fixed with some white plates and some modifications. It's the same with the landing gear. You can really make this ship a good set if you're planning on modifying it. Same with the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter. So yeah, maybe it does put them in line with those newer kind of models. Even though I would say I do prefer the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter more than this Imperial Shuttle. But that leads me to my next point. Do you guys think that this Imperial Shuttle is good? Because I have had one of my members, Rosie, make a very, very nice Imperial Shuttle in the style of the UCS one, but at a play scale. And I'll put those pictures up on screen now. Now, this has a similar piece count to the new one, being at 692, and with a few more modifications, I reckon you could probably get a minifigure in this, as well as keep the wings as strong as the playset. I understand that this playset is definitely going to be tailored more towards kids, and kids playing with it. Something like Rosie's maybe not. However, it is a good concept of this is what you can do with the same sort of piece count, and this, in my mind, looks way more accurate to the actual ship that we got in the film. And it would be nice to see LEGO incorporate some of their playability designs with designs like this, where you get a really nice medium, but you guys need to tell me whether you think this Imperial Shuttle is that medium in the comments. Now, do I think this ship is worth your money? Actually, yes, I do. If you don't have the 2015 one and you're a fan of the Imperial Shuttle, then this is a very good and very affordable set for the thing that you're getting. And just look at the General Grievous Starfighter. It's £5 more expensive and you get about 300 less pieces. I mentioned this in my General Grievous Starfighter review, and if you haven't seen that video, you can either click the card or you can go to the link in the description. Now, yes, there will be a modification video on this particular ship later on, I believe next week, as it is my birthday on the 4th, and I am trying to get everything done as quick as possible to make sure that I don't have to do any video stuff on that day. However, I will say I am going to be live streaming March the 4th on my birthday. We're going to be building a few sets and just having a nice general chat for a couple of hours, so if you're interested in that, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button and hitting that bell so you never miss when I make an upload or when I go live on YouTube. The fan art is building up. I hope it is going across the screen now. If you would like to submit fan art, you can go into the description below, go to the Discord. There is a fan art section where you can put your fan art in there and I will feature it on a video like this one. I also want to thank all of the members for making videos like this possible, and if you guys want to see your name flash up at the beginning montage as well, you guys can consider becoming a member. Any tier 2 plus members will get their name featured in the montage at the beginning of the video, and a lot more things such as exclusive wallpapers as well as behind the scenes content. If that sounds interesting to you, please make sure that you go ahead and hit that join button next to the subscribe button below. If you haven't seen my update video that I released on Saturday last week, then I recommend going to watch it. It'll explain all of the things that I plan on doing for 2021, as well as the future of my channel in terms of content that I'm going to be making. Good news, Star Wars and Harry Potter fans, I do plan on making a lot more of that type of content, so if that interests you, again, hit that subscribe button. But once again, guys, I thank you all for getting to the end of this video. Like I say, I don't know if there'll be another upload this week. It might just be the live stream. I'm going to try and get another upload out, but we'll see what happens with my birthday getting in the mix of things. I will speak to you guys in the next video. Preview right here. and goodbye.